And here's the clincher. Don't laugh at me now. I want 2/3 of a cup of beer. Don't call and ask me what kind. No, not 2/3. I want 3/4 of a cup. I'm sorry. You've seen me do this before with a crepe recipe. And the beer gives it a wonderful malty flavor. Now we'll blend that very quickly with the machine. I'm going to have to go turn my fritters. Be right back. Let's go this way, huh? Get a spatula, and we don't want to burn these. Oh, they're looking very good. No, that's not burning my finger. Thank you for worrying about me. Turn the heat down now and let those finish. All right. Now we'll make the batter, huh? We need to blend that for a minute. Not a minute, but blend that for a few seconds. Stop the machine and scrape down the sides because the flour has built up on the sides a bit. We don't want any lumps in this. And then we're going to add 1 package of chopped spinach, frozen spinach, that I've allowed to melt, and we're going to squeeze out the moisture as much as possible. Just squish it right out with your hands here. And then in it goes. Isn't this fun cooking? If you're a young person, or if you're a parent and you have a little kid in the household, bring him in to squeeze the spinach. You'll have a field day. That's enough. Leave as much water behind as you possibly can. We'll blend that at high speed. There we go. Now, if this is too thick, you may want to thin it down a bit, but we'll just see what happens here. On our marvelous excursion into wine and food. My fritters are done. I'll turn off the heat and we'll put them on a platter while our crepe pan heats up. Where is it? Here it is. Today's first course, on first courses, is a very lovely spinach fritter. And you can serve these on a bed of lettuce if you want. I'm going to tear that one up. That's a shame. Come here, you. The mint. The mint is what makes them unusual and very flavorful. Let me get a bit of color here for you. Always some color on the table, huh? It'll always help. When the first course comes to the table, I want your guests to be in the front room having a glass of sherry. Don't feed them hooch or distilled liquors or anything like that before a good dinner because it'll burn out their taste buds. So they'll bring their sherry with them and they can sit down. Sherry has a very nutty flavor because it sits in the sun for a long time in a barrel and it takes on a very wonderful nutty flavor. Delicious thing. All right, that'll go great with the crepes, with the fritters. Now we're going to do the crepes. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of peanut oil into my pan, or olive oil will work fine, and we'll test one of these and see. Just want a smidgen to start with. And then we'll wipe it out with a paper towel, because we don't want the things to be oily. And you want to let this batter sit for a bit. I have a batch here that I've allowed to sit, so I'm going to use that. Now watch, please, the way that you put 2 ounces of batter into the pan. The pan is hot. Put it in and roll it around right away. See? It's a little thick where I smear it around a bit and make 1 crepe. On it goes here. I've made a whole stack of these for you, and we're going to roll some right now. Rolled spinach crepes as a first course. I've made several. This batch, the amount that I've just given you, should make about 12 crepes. So I've made a bit, and I'll show you how to roll them. Is this one going to turn? That's not quite ready yet. Well, I don't want to waste any time, so let's get a filling going. I have a filling ready for you of vegetables. All kinds of vegetables today. I have in my pan some julienne carrots, some julienne onions, chopped onions I should say, some julienne zucchini, and then I added a bit of oil to the pan and some garlic and sauteed that. Now I'm going to add to the mixture 1 egg. Let's get the mixture into a bowl here. We're going to add 1 egg to this, all whipped up and ready to go, and a bit of cheese. It'll be easy. And our flavoring will come from marjoram. Let's put in a pinch of marjoram. I've already put some salt and pepper in this. I think I told you that, didn't I? Yes, and now some Parmesan cheese. Oh, a couple teaspoons will probably do us. And we're ready now to fill the crepes. It's so much fun to sit down, have everything ready at the first course. Look at these spinach. Aren't they gorgeous on the green side? Let me show you how that's done. Let's go back to the pan. Because what you want to do is to turn it gently as it begins to sit up, you see. And now the first side will be brown, but the second side will remain nice and green for you. There. That one's all done. I'm just going to leave it sit in the pan. I haven't time to deal with all of these today. But I have some all ready to go. I want to show you how they're filled. So we're going to fill the crepe with a brown side inside. Then roll him up thusly. There we are. And this will go into a bowl. Baking dish of some sort. We'll do several of these. Fill up your dish. I'm not going to do a whole pan full. I have so many things I want you to see today. I can't believe it. Fill up your dish, and you can either cover that with a good pasta sauce, or you could cover it with a Mornay sauce or a bechamel. These sauces are all in our book called Cooking with Wine. That sauce is getting a little cold. It's hard to spread. Then I put these in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes to half an hour. And let me show you what you get. You knew I had one ready, didn't you, huh? I'd better have one ready. I did these half and half. Are they beautiful? I did half and half. Half of the spinach crepes are filled with vegetables and covered with a baked tomato sauce or a pasta sauce, and the other half are covered with Mornay sauce, cheese sauce, and then I put some cheese over the top. I baked these for about 15 to 20 minutes at 350, and it's a wonderful first course, just wonderful. I'm sure another simple one, using the same gimmick here. If we were to take a spinach crepe and put a bit of lox into it. Oh, Jeffrey, now you're talking. That's a skinny piece. Let's not do that one. Let's do this big fat one. A rich life. Salmon is good for you. Do you know that? I know it's fatty, but we've realized now that a little fish fat is very necessary to your diet, and it's quite good for you. So now we'll roll that up, place them in a baking dish, cover them with, oh, there, I'll just do one for you, huh? Just one is fine. Whoops, did you see that come apart? Did you see that? I don't want it to come apart. That's because the seam was not on the bottom. Put the seam on the bottom. There, doesn't that look better? Boy, did you learn something profound already today. We're going to put some Mornay sauce on it, which is really a white sauce with a bit of cheese in it. And this looks lumpy, but it isn't lumpy at all. It's rather cool. That's why it's so hard to deal with, but that's all right. It's not lumpy at all. It'll cook out nicely. The little lumps you see are pieces of cheese. And over the top of that, we're going to put a piece of Swiss. Got it? And on the top of that, we're going to put some more grated Parmesan or Romano. Put that under in the oven a bit for about 15 minutes at 350 to 375. And look what you have. This one is gorgeous, and it's very rich. Now, you wouldn't serve sherry with this one because fish oil has a tendency to fight with wine. So you would serve a very dry white wine so that you can prevent the battle between the fish and the wine itself. Fish oils, you see. You'll notice on a salmon, for instance, that there's a little bit of gray fat on the back of the salmon. Remove that. That's true of all oily fish. Well, white fish, of course, you don't have to worry about. Here it is. Salmon-filled spinach crepes. Wonderful first course. Just delicious. Now, where do we go from here? Let's go on to some scallops. I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish this whole dish, but I'll give you most of the recipe in any case. We'll get started on it. And if we have to stop, we have to stop. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use a wok, a big Chinese frying pan, to prepare my scallops. You can use a regular frying pan, a large one if you like. It'll work just fine. I've already julienned some carrots. I'm going to do kind of a vegetable dish here with my scallops, some green onion. There we are. Now, while the pan's getting hot, we'll begin in our recipes. I need to prepare, first of all, the carrot and the green onion. I have those ready to go. And we'll just get some olive oil in our pan. Hope that's olive oil. The label just Fell off, yes. Olive oil should always smell fresh to you. And you don't have to worry about it going rancid. That's probably not going to happen unless you keep it a long, long time. I buy mine in a gallon can and then keep 1/4 of it out on the refrigerator, out on the shelf, and the rest I keep in the refrigerator. All right, now into the pan. We want to put the green onions and the carrot. 1 carrot julienne. Everything's julienne today because I've been playing with my new toy. I just love it. We'll saute that for a time. I'm not going to have time to do it. But we'll saute those 2 ingredients for a time. And then we're going to add 1 cup of broth. This is good chicken broth that I made myself, of course. And we'll cook that down just for a minute or so. And then add 1/2 cup of white wine. There, that's a 1/2 cup. Now we want to let this cook for a bit so that it reduces. And I don't have time to reduce it. So there we are. That's fine. That's looking good. Now I'm going to add some roux. And you remember, a roux is simply flour and butter mixed half and half. And I'm going to want 2 tablespoons of flour mixed with 2 tablespoons of butter. This is much more than I need. I've made a little extra, you see. And I'll put that in my dish to thicken it just a tad. And while that's cooking down a bit, I'm going to add my seasonings. And the seasonings consist of chopped parsley and fresh basil. If you don't have fresh basil, yes, of course, you can use some dried. That's all right, but it's not going to taste as good, I promise. Keep your fingers bent under. Do I have to tell you that again? Keep your fingers bent under. All right, in go the little bit of fresh basil and fresh parsley to taste. Of course, your own kind will do. And some salt and pepper. Just a smidgen. Don't go overboard on this. You don't need salt on scallops. A little bit of pepper. Throw in the old scallops. Toss them a bit. I have a pound of scallops. And by Jove, we're just barely going to make this. My friends who help me do these shows are sitting here eating the cameras, worried about whether or not we're going to make it. There's the dish. The sherry's in it. You will put these in little bitty dishes and pop them under a broiler with a bit of Parmesan cheese on top. Got that? Look how beautiful they are. You see, it's not rich and heavy like that dish that they call Conquille Saint-Jacques. This is much lighter. Now, this goes under a broiler, and it'll be all bubbly on top, and we will have completed celebrating the first courses with wine. Remember, the old French proverb, appetite is really the best sauce. That's true. Enjoy yourself. This is the Frugal Gourmet. Until I see you again, I bid you peace. Bye-bye.